Hello everyone, welcome to Hekate's Torch. This is your guide back to your own inner light. I'm Taya, and today we're going to be talking about something that is very close to the heart for me, and it is the true power of manifestation. I think so often manifestation could be misunderstood and minimized to something that is very surface level and very material, when it is so much deeper than that. Oh, I wanted to say that I'm recording a video during the day at my house. Do you guys see this? It's unbelievable. In a way, I kind of manifested it actually, because I was imagining recording a video today if I got alone time, and I thought my alone time was going to come from my husband being home and being able to watch the kids. And I just realized I was thinking of recording it back here, and that didn't happen. My husband is at work, but both my kids are napping right now, which is incredibly rare. Like the last time this happened was probably a few months ago, so that's pretty amazing. Anyways, we're here and it's daytime and I'm at my house and the kids are asleep. Yay. Okay, so I want to get deep into the raw power of what manifestation really is and how life-changing it can be. As you know, or maybe you don't know, and you could go watch my videos, just a few months ago my life was living hell, constantly. Right now it's better. I go in and out of waves sometimes still, you know, and that's expected. I went through something incredibly traumatizing last November, and discovering manifestation and the power of beliefs has given me my life back. What inspired this video is actually something that I posted yesterday that came to me in my shower last night. So I wrote that manifestation is a strengthening of the mind. It is a devotion to the soul, and it is a reminder of our godly power in a world that deceives us into powerlessness. It also this just ties into how I've come to see the world, and so many spiritual aspects that are taught today, like Christianity having God and the devil, and the devil is the deceiver, right? We're deceived into being powerless because of all these dark things that can happen and that go on in the world. But we can remember our godliness in reminding ourselves that we have power, and pulling power out of these situations that we could be deceived to feel otherwise. And that's not to say that these horrible things that happen to us aren't actually horrible. That is not to say that at all. And that is not to say that you can't grieve it, that you can't feel a certain type of way about it, because that is human. The empowering aspect can come from taking whatever good you can get out of what happened and turning that into your purpose, turning that into something that empowers you, that made you learn, that made you grow. That is all based on your beliefs around the situation, right? The very core of manifestation is your beliefs about yourself, the world around you, others around you, the things that happen to you. All these beliefs create our worlds, and that is manifestation at its truest core, because we are always manifesting our lives, always manifesting everything around us. And sometimes when you first learn that, it can be hard. You can feel like, well, I wouldn't want this life, I wouldn't have chosen this. And it's not always a conscious choice. Sometimes it's subconscious. You know, they say our subconscious isn't biased. Whatever we feed to it, it'll accept as the truth. So if we accept that the world is full of nightmares, our subconscious will portray nightmares, and so on and so forth. You can fill in the blank with anything you want. So the power comes when we recognize this power that we have as these little seeds of God, our little souls. You could think of them, our little seeds of God power, because at the core of it all, we are all connected through the same energy, and which means that we are all connected to God, and we all have that creative power within us. That is how manifestation works, and that is why our beliefs shape our world. That's why our state of awareness, our consciousness. I feel like those words are interchangeable, but if someone else wants to add some nuance in there in the comments, go ahead. But that is why our states, our consciousness, has the effect that it does is because at the root of it all, we are all God consciousness, and God consciousness created this life, created this world, this reality, and therefore we also have a part in how we create our own individual realities. It's really powerful stuff. That is why manifestation is so much deeper than a vision board, so much deeper than a car, than money. It's power. And for someone who can feel like they're in hell, that's a whole lot of power. I'm not going to say that it is going to be super easy, that once you figure this out, it's just going to be like, whoop, like now you're in your dream life. It takes dedication, and it takes devotion to yourself. That is kind of what I've been learning as I crawl my way out of hell, is that it's not as simple as realizing your beliefs shape your reality and then the whole world changes for you. At least it depends. I mean, it depends, right? It depends on how many limiting beliefs and what you've been programmed with growing up. When you do have so many of those limiting beliefs, what I've been really finding powerful is to have like a daily practice. My manifestation practice for just overall wellness is a breathwork technique. I have a video on it if you're interested in it. But it's going to be different for everyone. That is just my personal favorite, and it works like magic for everything. So that's my go-to. I love it. And doing that every single day not only resets my nervous system and soothes me, but it prepares me for a better day the next day, puts me in a good mindset before I go to sleep, so my subconscious is getting good food, so to say, before I fall asleep. And so I wake up in a better mood. I'm calmer throughout the day, especially with 2 young children. So that is my practice. It's very grounding. I'm a very earthy type of person, so something that is grounding actually really makes sense for me. That's really in my element. I'm just realizing. The reason why I bring this up as well is because when you have a practice that really works for you, something that roots you into your best self and roots you into your core of your being, everything else comes so much more naturally and easy. If you're wondering about those chairs back there, that's a baby blockade, just so you know. I don't know why, I just felt like mentioning that. But everything else comes so much easier because it's who you are, it's your state of being. So instead of like having to individually manifest the money, the car, the things, the material things, when you focus on your core self, everything else just comes so much easier. But if you want to start with some smaller things at first, just to get a feel for it, there's nothing wrong with that either. It's really just I'm a big fan of everyone having their own journey and their own stories of, you know, how they find themselves. I really do love that. I'm a cheerleader for everyone's stories. Everyone's gonna look different. So I feel like that's a really big part of getting deeper into manifestation, is like, it's not about these outside things. It's actually about your internal power. It's about you. Like the whole world actually is about you. Believe it or not. And once you work on that internal state, everything else just kind of starts to flow easier around you. One of my personal problems with manifestation is trying to use it for the people around me, which is kind of silly. And I keep having to reroute myself back to my center. Like once I feel good, like everything else is gonna run smoother. Which brings me into my next point about the deepness of manifestation, is that sometimes, there is a lot of magic to it. It is a lot of magical synchronicities, but it's also very practical, very 3D, and very logical. At least once you understand the underworkings of it. And that is that the beliefs that you have are going to influence the way that you behave. That makes sense, right? Let's give an example. If you're thinking, I don't like that person, you're going to act in a way that you don't like that person, and then the way that you're going to respond, that they're going to respond to you, isn't going to be in a way that you don't like, and it's going to further enforce that belief of that person. I don't like them for XYZ reason. If you maybe always feel like you're doing something wrong, you have an anxious energy, and I also have personal experience with this one. with others around me and with myself. But if you always have this anxious energy of I'm always going to do something wrong, then you are acting from that state of being, and naturally your behaviors are going to manifest in a way that makes you feel like you're always doing something wrong. Okay, and then let's see, I'm going to go even a little bit deeper here and pull on my background knowledge of the way our biology and the psyche works a little bit. So say that growing up you used to always feel attacked, or like you're having to defend yourself against your parent. When you grow up, that stays in your psyche of someone is always attacking you, or you're going to always have to defend yourself from something. So if you had a parent who's always yelling at you, maybe abusive, and that belief carries on into the outer world, you're going to see that same conflict in other external situations. So you're going to see, maybe in politics, you're going to see the political leaders, as someone that's attacking you, someone that you need to protect yourself against, because this authority figure is going to do something that you don't want to do. They're going to make you do something that you don't want to do. Okay? I've been so tapped out of political, like I'm just not manifesting that. I don't believe in all that stuff. I don't believe that's how humans should, like I'm very anti-authority in a way, which is funny because I'm still working on that in my parenting. I'm not perfect. I'm never gonna pretend I'm perfect. I'm just gonna give advice, okay, and helpful things, that can transform your life, okay, but mine's not 100% transformed either. I don't want people to look at me like I'm some kind of god and I know everything, because no one does. I don't think anyone does. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. So anyways, yeah, I'm out of the political world. I don't resonate with that. But I know there's still a lot of people who feel that way, that there's this political authority who's going to tell me I have to do something that I don't want to do, or that this is the way it's going to be. We can see that conflict reflected back to our childhood of adults, our parents telling us this is the way it has to be and you're going to do it because I'm your authority. Do you see that connection there? I hope so. I hope that makes sense. Another way that you can see is you have a horrible boss and they're always nagging at you. They're always telling you what to do. And it's really fun with these limiting scenarios to kind of go back to your childhood and think of like, where was that in my childhood? And think of the way it made you feel. And that connecting emotion. Is there something in my hair? There is something in my hair. So yeah, that's been something I work on and that I really like incorporating into my manifestation. I'm anxious now because I'm bursting with so many ideas. Okay, so that is how things from our childhood can manifest into our current everyday realities. I do have a video on shifting these limiting beliefs. It is something that takes patience. I'm not going to say that it's going to be instant, because it could be, but it also could not be. And I don't want people to feel like failures or dejected if they try it and it doesn't work right away, because these are stories that we've carried with ourselves for a long time. And so we have to have some patience and ease with them and let them melt away in their own times. Something that is also super, super deep and powerful about manifestation is that we don't have to do it all. If you believe in a higher power, I call it God these days. You could call it whatever you like. If you believe in a higher power, you can surrender your battles, you can surrender your desires, surrender your growth, all of that, you can surrender it to God. You can say that this is what I want. You can feel it in your body, and you can just tell God, like, this is what I am moving towards. Please carry me there. And Sky Daddy carries you there. I also say Sky Daddy sometimes as a joke, but also like it's just fun. And yeah, Sky Daddy will just carry you there. I have more recently believed, especially since everything I've been through within this less than a year, is that there is such a a strength and a magic in surrendering to the mysterious ways of God or the universe. Because when you're surrendering, you're no longer creating resistance. You're no longer fighting against the force, so the force just melts away because you're surrendered. You can't help but to be carried down the river of life. And exactly where you want to go, God will carry you there. And I've experienced this so many times with when I was like, I want to find my limiting beliefs. I was getting so frustrated. I was trying to fight. I was trying to make it happen so that my life could just look better. I just wanted my life to look better, and I'm going to figure these all out right now. And it felt like so much work. It felt so heavy. And I just had this breakthrough moment, because when you think of limiting beliefs, there's ones of like, I am unworthy, I am unlovable, I am unworthy, unlovable, I'm not enough, right? And I just had this come to God moment, we'll call it, where I just sat on the bed and I was like, how am I supposed to believe I'm all these things? How am I supposed to believe I'm worthy and I'm loved? And how am I supposed to fight all of these things that I've been told when I'm not that, when I've believed that I'm not that? How am I supposed to find that I am those things? And I just had this sudden realization moment of I already am all those things in the eyes of God. If I leave this earth, I will feel nothing but unconditional love and presence and warmth and held by this godliness. And there is no shame. And so I realized in that moment that through God, I already am all those things. It does not matter what I have been through in this life. I am still lovable. I am still worthy. I am still enough. And as soon as I realized that, the next morning I woke up, I started to fight a little bit again, trying to I'm like, I don't know, I think I'm still overwhelmed. I think I still have to really work hard to figure this out. That's another story sometimes people can carry, is that we have to work really hard for something to turn the way out that we want it to. Especially if you come from like a low-income family, or, what's the word? If you come from poverty. You can hear that in those kinds of families. That kind of system is that you have to work really hard to be able to live. Anyways, I dropped that story again. I just surrendered it. I surrendered it all and trusted that it would come to me. And it did. Literally like 30 minutes after I surrendered, the beliefs started coming into me. And that whole day I was being flooded, inundated with all of my limiting beliefs. So that's another really powerful, deep aspect of manifestation, is that you don't have to do it all. You just give it to God and you'll be taken care of. That's all I wanted to share for today. I think that's all that I have on the deepness in the powerful, true power. Like, oh my God, you guys feel it? The true power of manifestation is huge. It is the core of everything. It is the core of everything. It is so beautiful. It is more than just that little spiritual 20-year-old girl who's creating a vision board because she wants money and cars, or that hot guy. It is the essence of life. So, yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I'm so grateful for this time to make this video in the daylight. I'm so grateful for everyone who was here, and I'll see you next time.